been about 6 months ago. I get contacted by a group of old college teammates, and they say they're putting the band back together. They're going out to the US Open, which has a division called the Veterans. So you must be 35 years to enter it. So it's not just the young guys, it's not just the college studs. They're going to do the Veterans, they're going to do it alongside the college studs. Okay, great. I'm going to be the coach. We get together, we go out there, we have a great time. And along with the camaraderie and the success, Quinn won a national championship. Uh, but really, everybody won. You know, it was kind of one of these different deals. And I don't ever want to be a prude or be weak when I'm talking about coaching and competitions. But this was a different scenario where all of the guys getting together, all of the guys getting into shape, all of the guys making weight, all of the guys going out there and competing. It was only good things, right? There's only good things that come from that. In addition to watching our guys compete, though, the US Open went on. And the US Open, for any of you that aren't aficionados on wrestling, it's no different than any other thing that is titled US Open, whether it's in tennis, whether it's in golf. I mean, this is the big one, right? And it's exactly as advertised. It is open to anybody in the US. There are no parameters. Even the NCAA has got different divisions. And then even within those divisions comes the bureaucracy of making the clearinghouse and having your grades up. And then the military's got their forms of wrestling and the training center. This is the open. If you have a pulse and you want to enter, put your $25 down and get on the scale. It is such competitive wrestling, but it's also very important because it will qualify you for the World Team Trials. And should you be the champion, it will even have added incentives. But for the most part, you kind of know how this is going to go. In most of the weight classes, you know who the guy is. Not this year. Everything got thrown out. I mean, if you want to talk about outstanding wrestler, that's going to go to Yanni for many different reasons. I'm not positive Yanni was the outstanding wrestler. I'm not sure it wasn't Bo Nickel. If you look at how they both competed, if you look how many points they scored, if you look at everybody that they beat, but Yanni was more of a surprise. 145 pounds is just so tough. We got Olympians in that weight class. We got returning national champions in that weight class. We've got world team members in that weight class. So I think there was just a little bit more impressiveness for what he did. And I will concede that I would also give him the outstanding wrestler, but I think there needs to be a real conversation. You have to be able to look at what Bo Nickel did. And as it sets those guys up for the rest of the year and what's to come and the showdown that Bo Nickel is going to have with Jaden Cox in a number of weeks, 6, 7, 8 weeks here, starts to be some pretty exciting stuff. And I would put Yanni's performance, I would put it as far as inspiring, quite frankly. I mean, a really hard road going through Molinaro, having to take on his own teammate and coach and Jordan Oliver, getting into the finals with Zane. I mean, there's a reason they call it the Zane train, because it's hard to stop. Yanni did it all and had another win in there. I think if you look at Nolf's match with Green, I thought that was one of the better actual matches. I don't know if James Green is ever going to get the credit that he deserves, but just a fantastic wrestler. He ends up getting surprised in the finals by Deacon. You look over at what Adam Kuhn is doing, sitting in the finals of Final X, all the while coming back through the freestyle scene, which nobody should tell him he shouldn't do. I know that isn't the motto of USA Wrestling. I know the motto is that you pick one style and you go with it. But when you have a guy like Kuhn who's doing it his own way, but bringing home championships and world level medals, man, you got to stand back and support him as he's doing it. I will tell you, one of the guys, aside from the outstanding wrestlers, which is going to come down to Yanni, going to come down to Bo, you want to know who is outstanding for me? Dan Che Jr. And, you know, Dan Che Jr. is one of these guys that loves wrestling, from a wrestling family. His old man's a badass. He grew up to be a badass. But he went and got a bronze medal at the US Open. And I don't know what he did in high school, but I'll never know. Now, I do for the most part know what he did in college, but it will never be talked about now. Once you get a bronze medal in the US Open, that is what you will be referred to from here on out. He was third place in the US Open. Anything you do before that gets thrown out. And sometimes that's really good, and sometimes it's bad. Kenny Monday and I had this Kenny Monday won 4 state championships. He won the junior national championships. He won the NCAA championships. He won a world championship, but then he became Olympic champion. Nothing he ever did ever mattered or counted. They only call him Olympic champion. So in his case, maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe he doesn't get all the credit that he should get. But if anybody ever had a career in which, man, I wish I would have won more matches or more tournaments or more medals. You're in the spot of Dan Terry Jr., he forever will just be known. Unless he comes out and does something even better than this. But he literally in one weekend not only won a Masters championship, but he fixed his entire wrestling resume for life. For life. It was such a great tournament.